of Opposition Rahul Gandhi highlighted the unpublished memoir of ex-army chief M.M. Naravne in the parliament, Union Minister Rajnath Singh, Amit Shah, Kiran Rijiju and Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla raised loud objections. This is the latest episode of Seema Says, where the wise editor Seema Chishti explains to us what is happening lately. Hello, Seema.
Hi.
What happened in the parliament yesterday?
I think we saw the neat transition from a government and a party that boasts of a triple engine sarkar to a triple censorship regime. They were busy censoring an ex-army chief's memoirs, Narwane's memoirs. Number two, they're censoring the right of the leader of the opposition to read out excerpts in parliament. Number three, they're censoring any attempts to forge accountability, to enforce accountability on crucial decisions taken at the China border. The nation wants answers. The opposition is entitled to ask. So we saw triple-pronged censorship. And seeing the complete restlessness amidst the treasury benches at Rahul Gandhi attempting to read the cover story of the Caravan or attempting to read from the cover story of the Caravan written by journalist Sushant Singh, who looks at the memoirs of M.M. Naravne, which have been effectively censored by the Ministry of Defense. And in that, the former army chief has highlighted very critically how crucial hours, minutes were lost when he looked to the political command for what is to be done next. And they just kind of let it go. This is abdication of responsibility, if true, and if this is what happened. And opposition parties, the nation, deserve to know exactly what happened. We had zero press conferences on the India-China border skirmish ever since Doklam in 2017. The crisis at Doklam, then the tussle at Galwan, where we lost 20 Jawans. And afterwards, you had the Prime Minister saying, na koi ghusa hai, na koi ghusa tha, na koi ghusa hai, which proved to be completely wrong. There were multiple kind of discussions with China, but there were never any proper briefings. There were no parliamentary questions allowed on it and no debates. How can this happen? Just comparing that, because they love invoking Nehru, I must invoke Nehru. In 1962, when India was at war with China, we had numerous debates. They're all there on the website actually to see how it was the Prime Minister, Pandit Nehru himself, taking questions and answering criticisms. And he got his share of criticisms then for the handling of the border crisis then and the war with China. And he took it on. He took it on the chin. And to see this as a contrast is really a low for how information is managed. And it is not as if it's a fancy to get information. If information flows in the system, there is transparency. At every stage and step, people are alert. The system is healthy, functioning, and you are then a fully functioning democracy.
Defense Minister highlighted he reiterated several times that where is the memoir? Has it been published? Well, Shravasti Dasgupta has done a story highlighting how Narwane's memoir were awaiting clearance from the Ministry of Defense and the Ministry of External Affairs. So,
yeah, it's clearly, if there's anybody who knows where the memoirs are, it is Mr. Rajnath Singh and his ministry, because they've withheld that. They've not gone through the proper process of communicating to the publishers and to Narwane that this is not okay for publication, for whatever those reasons may be. But this is downright censoring, and censoring on the fact of its censoring, and censoring on the facts of the matter, and refusing to engage in a proper parliamentary discourse, dialogue, which tells us what happened, what went wrong, so we can scrutinize and hold up whoever is responsible as accountable.
Right. Moving on, Deepak Kumar, a gym owner from Uttarakhand's Kotdwar, faced violent protests from Hindutva group after he intervened to stop the harassment of his neighbor, a 70-year-old Vakil Ahmed. Will you tell us more about the incident?
Yeah, Deepak means light, which is so nice. And, our colleague behind the camera is also Deepak, which really heartens me and makes me feel good. Because Deepak, our bodybuilder, Deepak Muhammad, Deepak Kumar, he says, call me by any name, actually embodies the spirit and the law of India, which clearly says that everybody is equal. A bunch of goons can't go into a marketplace and just get anybody to change names. And anyway, this is happening in a special context in Uttarakhand, where it seems there's some sort of Vyapar jihad on now, where they're forcing. So if you're Muslim, you can even keep Muslim names, only so-called Muslim names. I don't know what Muslim names means, but you can only do that. And you cannot keep names which are vaguely Hindu sounding. I don't even know what that means. The word Baba particularly cannot refer to a particular religion. It's a generic which is used across the subcontinent. People refer to their fathers, to peers, to Bhagwanji, to various things like Baba, you know.
Right.
So to say that Vakil Ahmed cannot call his shop Baba because Bajrang Dal doesn't want that is not on. And I think Uttarakhand police did very badly to try and register an FIR on Deepak and on Agyat Log, i.e. unknown people, whereas a lot of people were able to identify the crowd that rushed and was trying.
There are
This,
videos.
yeah, this is the state's surrender to the mob, which is not going to help the state very much. And I think Deepak standing up to this shows us responsibilities and the duty of all of us individual citizens of India who stand by what is right. And it makes a difference. One person, oh sure, he's a bodybuilder, and you had a whole lot of bodybuilders and posting videos that will come in, will jump in and sock people on the jaw. But the fact that they can step in and step up and put the brakes. And I think those are the only guardrails we have against mobs. And this has been happening ever since that a couple of hotheads do it. And if the state is refusing to do its job, I'm glad that we have citizens like Deepak who give us confidence that, we the people and India lives.
But also Uttarakhand's Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami is among the top BJP leader alleged of hate speech by a report released by India Hate Lab. But he dismissed the claim and said that he would do anything to protect the Dev Bhumi culture.
Yeah, that's pretty appalling of him to say that because he's been responsible for a record number of divisive statements. So I must say the competition for the top spot is very intense in the BJP currently. Hemanta Biswa Sarma has been saying things. The UP Chief Minister continues to rail.
But my question is this could be the reason of this atmosphere in Uttarakhand?
Sure, because see, there is always prejudice, some social biases that are operating in a plural society. That's the case worldwide. There are no surprises there. There are dark things in our heads. What is the promise and offer of of a plural country that comes together, that we leave our differences at home and in the public space, we will deal with empathy, with respect, and with fraternity or bandhutva. This is a word in our constitution. It's in the preamble. So I think that is the significance that when the state, when elected chief ministers let go of basic principles which they swear by the constitution, they swear by also the spirit of the constitution when they take power. So this whole thing that for polarization, we will see you differently if you're wearing certain clothes, you have certain names, and we'll see you differently if you're not wearing those clothes and you don't adhere to those things which we regard as citizens of India meaning to do. So I think overall, I think it not only is bad stuff, but it has a deleterious effect on India and its unity and in integrity and also our internal security.
Before we begin, I want you to briefly talk about what is happening in the cricket world. Pakistan will not play against India at the 2026 Men's ICC World Cup. Is it a sad news for cricket lovers?
Yeah, it's rotten. I mean, come on. I mean, sport is meant to be rising above all these things. It offers opportunities. It offers countries at war. And there have been instances in football of countries sparring at war, not with diplomatic ties in, say, South America, but they play games. So the whole idea of games is to be able to bridge that. And it cannot be war. But in the way, unfortunately, the way the International Cricket Council has been behaving, in the case of the Mustafizur Rahman expulsion from IPL, which led Bangladesh, of course, also to the Bangladesh. So, look here, I'm not making a case that Bangladesh Cricket Board and PCB are sort of very great, holier than thou places. They're not. They're also run by their politics, etc. But that's where it matters that a large country like India, which it has control over the ICC, it has to be the large-hearted one and establish good rules, good ground rules. And I think that has not happened. So the PCB is also allowing politics to kind of come in, and they have taken a position that unless Bangladesh gets to play its matches in Sri Lanka, they will not play India. The India-Pakistan match is the money spinner. That's what all the people who bid for digital rights, who bid for telecast rights, they come in. That's where the money is. And anyway, Jio is kind of really pushed in terms of broadcast rights and the money they expect to make, because there have been great mergers in the world of sport, in the world of telecast. So their revenues are challenged. And if there is no India-Pakistan match, they stand to lose. And I think India did pretty badly last time when they insisted on playing the games, but they wouldn't shake hands. And I think even the Prime Minister tweeted and said this is like Op Sindoor, which was very disrespectful of soldiers, etc., to equate that to war. When the Prime Minister, he's a top leader, he's the most powerful leader leader of our country to stand up and say that. So I think essentially ICC with its behavior has allowed an ethnic nationalism, its politics to bleed into how it's behaving. And Pakistan and Bangladesh are also behaving equally badly. Right. So in the end, who'll suffer? Cricket suffers, cricketers suffer. And the point is made as if we're all divided into little pitches, and South Asia, which should be a cohesive place of understanding, of shared histories and empathy to each other, just splits like this. And that too on the cricket field. So overall depressing.
Moving on to the last topic, late last night, Trump announced that India and US have reached a deal with 0% tariff on American goods in India and an 18% tariff on Indian goods in the US. The math is not mathing. What do you think?
The math is certainly not mathing. I think there's a whole lot of divisions and subtractions happening. I think first we must remember this whole rejoicing over 18% tariff. The context was very low tariffs that India was expected to pay. I mean, something like 2.93% just after the nuclear deal was agreed with the United States. So from there to go to these humongous levels is huge. So let's stop celebrating even if it's 18% and just step back a bit. There's a lot of happiness that, oh, Bangladesh, Vietnam is 20%, Pakistan is 19%, we are 18%. But there was a full waiver of 5% on these tariffs which the US has given a lot of Asian countries, which Trump in his first term took away from India. So we don't have that 5% advantage. So we would need to have this 18% much lower to enjoy any competitive advantage here. Secondly, and most importantly, the terms of the deal are not out. And the Agriculture Secretary of the US, Mr. Trump himself, are claiming a big, boost to rural economies there. Agriculture is something that we keep sheltered. It's a fairly battered sector already in India, post-COVID particularly. It needs support and help and assistance. And agriculture sectors the world over need that, and they take it, even as per WTO rules. So I want to understand what kind of opening of the agriculture sector has happened, which will hurt Indian interests. What's going on there? Then Mr. Trump saying that India will buy stuff worth $500 billion. That's a long amount. We don't know whether he's talking about 10 years, 5 years, what's going on. No clarity from India. But I think most importantly, what really this whole Trump deal, the art of the deal or whatever is happening is that India seems to have ceded its right to make announcements completely to the White House, not even the White House, to Mr. Trump on Truth Social. Whether it is the ceasefire with Pakistan, with the very serious trouble we had with Pakistan last year, whether it is claims of mediation between India and Pak. 3 times he's even spoken about jets going down. 70 times he said that India doesn't have the guts to even take his name and refute that. He announces that India is deciding it will not buy Russian oil. He makes claims about India now buying Venezuelan oil, reducing stuff. And then you have the budget which then shows the Chabahar port with Iran, which was like our big pitch, our big ploy with strategic autonomy, etc. The money allocated to that is zero. So there's no clarity on what we have done with our strategic autonomy, which we talked about. There are no details yet. And in fact, Mr. Modi does not even use the phrase deal. He just speaks of 1.4 crore people and 18% tariff reduction. So I think we need a lot of details now. And the ceding of autonomy is what worries me a lot. That what have we lost in order to get this deal? But details are awaited.
Okay, moving on to the last segment of the show where Seema recommends. So what are Seema recommendations?
Yeah, well, 2 recommendations. The first recommendation is a beautiful graphic novel I finished by Sarnath Banerjee called Absolute Jafar. I won't give away the plot. It's really beautiful. It has some excellent commendations, recommendations and blurbs, but do read it. It's an absolute treat. And so beautiful as well with the watercolors that Sarnath has drawn. And the second thing is actually the music of Arijit Singh. I didn't realize that Arijit Singh, who very sensibly from my point of view, has said he will not do the playback music. He'll probably do other things and allow his beautiful golden voice and his training to come through in other ways and give us good indie stuff. Did you know he's the most followed music star the world over on Spotify? He has more followers than Taylor Swift at 171 million. So that came as quite a surprise that he was like so big. And so like any song by Arijit, Jaane ki Zid Na Karo is a particularly beautiful rendition.
Sure.
Your recommendation?
My recommendation is a frivolous one. I'm going to warn you.
There are no frivolous recommendations.
But if you're a fan of Regency romance and ball, dance and elite etiquettes, then Bridgeton season 4 is out. So I'd recommend watching it. That's all for today. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for watching The Wire.